What's up everybody, Enzo Treppa here with budsimple.com. It's been a little while since I've done a video, but I got a request from an M. Hess on YouTube, so a little shout out to M. Hess for making me get off my butt and get this door situation happening for the Silver Shack grow box. Anyways, I decided for this smaller box to go with something that was a little bit thicker. So I got this 3/4 inch by 1/2 inch weather stripping. It was like $3 at Home Depot. And then I got these whatever little plastic hooks that have an adhesive on them, so they'll be easy to attach. Originally I was going to go ahead and use a utility knife, but for this type of project I would definitely recommend to get something that has a longer blade on it so that you could get through you can get through the stuff pretty easy. I mean, it's only a 1/2 inch or a 1/4 inch this or I think it's 1/2 inch this insulation, but just having something like this just makes it a lot easier. Got the rubber bands here to attach the hooks. And I'll have this tape right here, and you won't need this or the tape for the door. This is kind of like, this is an add-on, if you will, because basically this is the Silver Shack grow box, the original one that I did, and it's already completed to this point. And the concept that I have for the door, I'm basically just going to cut like a door out of here and then just tape it back on after I'm done. You also need a pair of scissors. The concept itself is really basic. Just going to take this this weather stripping and we're going to line the whole surface of the door. That's why I kind of got the thicker insulation, was because I'm hoping that once this is on, you can actually just slide this on and it'll stay on. Now this is going really easy because I already used the utility knife to cut this out, but it wasn't quite long enough at the angle that I had. I mean, you could get through this for sure, but I just decided to pull out one of these because they're just a lot easier to work with. So I recommend getting one and using one for this project. Now be warned, this stuff is very messy. So it helps if you maybe have like a small hand vacuum nearby, because with the static electricity, this stuff will cling to things, but you have a little tiny bit of a breeze or a little gust of wind or something, this stuff goes everywhere. All right, so now that we got that cut out, you'll see that I have some toothpicks here. And one of the cool things about this insulation is that you can use these toothpicks to, to mount things, or to hold things up. If you want to click the link right here, then you can see how they are applied in the previous videos. So like I said, I just wanted to cut this out as a door. And you know what, this actually might function as a door, because I'm thinking maybe having some tape, taping like a hinge, and then maybe having some Velcro or something on this side so you could literally like open and close this. That might be handy. Maybe we'll get into that, I don't know, but just an idea. So anyways, like I said, what I want to do is just take this insulation right here, and then I just want to line the inside of this. I want to line the inside of the door. And probably should cut this out first because we've got this big piece. And you could trim this to size if you want. You could line it up. But what I've noticed on this, unfortunately, is when I made it, there's a pretty nice bow in it. So I would just suggest, that might be from my sizing and cutting and stuff like that. It might just be from warping from the heat and stuff like that. But that's kind of the reason why I decided to do it this way, because that way, once I put this down, it'll follow the curvature of of the sides there, and there won't be any gaps or problems or anything like that. So just make sure that you have enough room on the opposite side here before you make this cut. Make sure that there's enough space, because you don't want a gap. And again, like I said, this stuff gets everywhere. So if you have a little hand vacuum, I highly recommend having it close by. So just a little note to keep track of is you just want to make sure that you've got it, parallel on one side. Otherwise, when you sit it up on itself like this, when you sit it up like that, it'll, if they're not parallel, it'll be crooked. You know what I mean? And we don't want that. So I'll just tell you, just be warned that this might be a little bit difficult to work with. I thought you were gonna be able to peel the adhesive off and then apply it, but it looks like it's just, you know, they've put this tape on here just so that it doesn't stick together and you've got adhesive on one side only. I think I have an idea. Okay, so as you saw, I was having some trouble keeping this thing together when I was trying to put the adhesive on. This is another great reason for the toothpicks. Because what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna line this all up and make sure everything looks good. And then I'm just gonna stick these toothpicks through here like this. You don't need a whole bunch of them. Like that, and then that way it'll hold this all together when I put the adhesive on. So one thing I found for doing this application, because it's kind of hard to stick them straight down at an angle like this, is if you want, you kind of just start off and break the surface like that and then turn it up and then push it in like that. But one thing to mention is when you're putting those toothpicks through, you don't want to see that. Because when you put the adhesive on, it'll obstruct it. So just be sure to put it at a good enough angle so that it doesn't puncture through like that. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and apply. Now that we've got that secured, we'll go ahead and apply. I'm just putting some pressure up against this side here. And the good thing is here is if you cut it a little bit short, you can kind of stretch it out. I'm just gonna see where we're at with it. And I'll just cut it to size. Okay, so now that we've got everything attached like that, I guess the true test would be if I just do it to lift it up. So if I just lift it straight up, you see that it's still attached. Oh, but you know why? It's because of those toothpicks. So let's take those toothpicks out and do a test and see if it stays. Okay, so now I'm going to lift it up without the toothpicks, and it looks like it's going to stay on there pretty good. So you can go ahead and just label it top if you want. You know, we've got it flush on this end, and then this end has, you know, the extra. So I don't know, that might, like when you're setting it up, it might be better, you know, to have that little gap. I mean, I've actually installed it upside down if that's what you want to do, because my lights are going to be on top. But, you know, now that that's there, you probably just push that through, and then you'll end up with something that looks like that. Like that. So the next step would be is to attach these. Now, I suppose if you wanted to, you don't even need these really, because if you know, if you wanted to, you could have a flush side here. You know, if you wanted to trim this off, you could do that. I suppose you could, if you wanted, you just had it like this. You know, if you had one side that was flush, you could just, you know, use it as a door like that as well. But I'm going to go ahead and keep it with just the rubber bands. So one other good thing that you could use this tape for is, you know, when we put the rubber bands over, there's going to be a little bit of pressure here, so I'm sure it'll eventually dig through the styrofoam. So when there's that pressure on the rubber band, it's not going to dig into the, I mean, it doesn't look like it needs it too much, but I think after, you know, time and use and stuff like that, it's just better to have some sort of protection on there. So once you figure out the placement, I'm going to probably just do 4, just 2, 1 here. Or maybe I'll do it kind of on the third point, like here and here. I think that'll work. And then you don't want to make this tape too long, because if you fold off and you attach it to this side, then it's going to stick. But if that happens, it's really no big deal. You just take your knife and just slide it along here and cut it. All right, so we're going to open up our hooks. I'll probably do it this way. So I've got something that looks like that. And then I'll take this off, and then we'll put it So what I would do is I would just take the rubber band, get your rubber band for tension. Because I don't think you're going to want this too tight. But, you know, I'd probably bring this around. Something like that. Again, like I said, I don't think you're going to need it too tight. So I'll just put it on there. And I'm going to go ahead and take this off and let it adhere, I guess. I don't know. So anyways, that's kind of the concept. And then you'll basically have, you know, the rubber band like that. So I went ahead and put this piece on here. And initially what I wanted to do was I was just going to go ahead and tape it back up. You know, put the tape around here and seal it up. And then we would go ahead and use this as the access door. But now that I'm thinking about it, you could probably keep something like this as like a main door for doing maybe like soil changes or doing something that's pretty, you know, pretty heavy duty. And then maybe, you know, I was just thinking it might be a good idea is maybe we just take this side off right here, figure out a way to put a handle on this and have a, you know, have an attachment here. I mean, we could go ahead and use those, the little hooks that we had used previously. If you end up with 4, if you wanted to do 3 on that door and 1 on this door, that would work out really well. But I'm going to try to figure out something a little bit different for this little handle, because if we're going to create a hinge here, we're going to need a handle to open it up with. And you could leave it like this if you want, and if you just use this as your main door, then you're pretty much done with the Silver Shack Grow Box. If you like what you saw in the video, please comment, like, and subscribe. I'm Enzo Treppa with budsimple.com. Thanks for watching.